Today we are doing the June wrap-up and my plans for July. So let's go talk about these books. Hello everybody, my name is Heather and this is where we talk about all things books. Today I will be going over a lot of things and it may be a little echoey because I'm recording in my living room and I haven't found a microphone that works really well with my phone. And so this is pretty much where I am, but my children aren't here today and I need to be in here with the dogs so they don't chew anything up, and because it's thundering outside and this one gets scared of the thunder. So that's where we're at right now. And so the first book that I read this month is Cities of Smoke and Starlight, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I had so much fun. It was very fast-paced. The romance was slow burn, and when I say slow burn, it definitely was a slow burn. So if you're not comfortable or if you don't really care for slow burn, this one is definitely very slow, and I don't mind that so much. I enjoyed it, the tension and everything, and yeah, it was a lot of fun reading it. So in this story, you have the two main characters, Case and Hallie, and they end up meeting for the first time in a bookstore that Hallie works at. And at this point in time, both of them have had a very bad day and are pretty grouchy. And so Case enters the bookstore and Hallie ends up being crabby and she's supposed to be closing the bookstore within 10 minutes. And so she basically gives him 8 minutes because she has to have time to close the store. And so she's counting down the time until she closed down the bookstore out loud to him and being pretty snarky. And it was so funny watching their first interaction. And it even ended with a Shakespearean insult. And I actually found that pretty hilarious. So we move on from there and they meet again when they are in a group that has been handpicked to go on this quest to find these people that live on this new planet. And they are going to find these people to request help from them to fight this other group of people that live on this planet as well, that are some pretty nasty people. And so that's the adventure that they go on. And this story, like I said, it goes from one event to another. Just one thing after another happens. And like I said, I enjoyed the story so much. The author described it as being like Treasure Planet and Anastasia. And I completely agree. It definitely has those types of vibes. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the setting of the story actually takes place not on Earth, but a different planet. They left Earth and moved to a different planet. And so it's definitely has the Treasure Planet vibes. And that was one of my favorite movies, along with Anastasia. So to see the banter of Anastasia mixed in with Treasure Planet, and honestly, I saw a lot of the Mummy in there as well, with the whole reading ancient languages and other things like what was in the Mummy. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. But all three of those movies were some of my favorites growing up, and I enjoyed it, seeing that come together in this book. Now, the second book that I read was also really great. I enjoyed it, and that was A Crane Among Wolves. This is my second book by June Her, and I couldn't wait for it to come out. I read The Red Palace in January and loved it. It quickly became one of my favorites, and I recommended it to several people, and they have enjoyed it as well. That one is more of a murder mystery with a little bit of romance, but this one is actually more romance with a little bit of thriller murder mystery thrown in with it. I really did enjoy it, and I believe she's quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. I do have plans to read her other 2 books that she has out, and yeah, I'm excited to read those. But in this book, you have Isul, who leaves her home to go find her sister, who has been taken by the king. The king is a very nasty person, okay? He's not a good person at all. He is planning to have kidnap and take 10,000 women for his harem, and her sister ended up being one of the people. So she is going to find her sister so she can save her. And along the way, she meets Daehyun, which is actually the king's brother. And they team up together, despite not really liking each other to begin with, to do one of 2 things. One, they are trying to find the killer that is hunting down different people that are supposedly supporters of the king, and 2, to try and overthrow the king because he is an awful person. So that is the setting of this book, and it does go into detail about some things, and there are trigger warnings in here at the beginning. So none of it actually happens in the story. Most of it doesn't happen in the story. It is just spoken about, but there are still some trigger warnings to be aware of in the story. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning some of the history in Korea. And yeah, like I said, I loved the story. I did enjoy Red Palace more, but this one honestly is a close second. I have no problems with this book at all. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. I finished it very quickly. I did end up downloading the audiobook, or getting the audiobook for this so I could finish it while I was cleaning a few things, and I'm okay with that. The narrators in there did very, very well. I like the fact that the female narrator was actually the same one that did the Red Palace, so I enjoyed it. All in all, this month was amazing. I enjoyed it, and I did start The Way of the Kings. I am a few chapters in, and I'm enjoying it so far. I do plan to go over this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a reading vlog where I do every few chapters as a reading vlog, or if I'm going to just do like a weekly live chat about it, about the chapters that I'm reading. So whichever one you two would prefer, just let me know, and that's the one I will do. But I think I may just do a reading vlog of every few chapters, because this one is such a big book. I don't know if I'll be able to do it justice just doing a wrap-up video. So this is the one that I am working on right now, The Way of Kings, and honestly, that's pretty much the only thing that I have planned for July is this one. And if I get done with this one, I may move on to a different book. I may read either some more Keeper of the Lost Cities, or I may do The Grace of Kings. I haven't decided yet. So, but that's pretty much what I have right now. Is I'm going to be focusing on The Way of Kings and doing this one for July, and I don't have any plans for my videos in July yet. I have not sat down to plan it out yet, and I need to. That really was my plan to do this week, but things came up and I got sidetracked and I forgot to do it. So it didn't happen, and so I'm just going to have to sit down and do it at some point. All in all, that's really all that I have for today. Let me know if you've read A Crane Among Wolves, and if you would like to read this along with me and do some live chats, or if you would like for me to do just reading vlogs with it. Either way, I'm fine with it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.